I just don't feel like it was a good experience to me, and I'm just gonna put it into D. Let's stop sugarcoating for places like that.
For its time, it is important and it has history there, but I think we've moved on.
Yes.
No, that's what
I want to be
for.
harsh. I know I want to be harsh on them.
But we go.
Yes,
we
but
go.
I always regret
but
going.
We go. Cold. Okay. Okay.
Hi, Tokyo Tops. We're back for another video. And because our last tier list video of Hatenba, where cruising spaces in Tokyo, did very well, we want to do another video regarding about tier list.
So today we thought we'd do something similar but something different and rank the bars in Shinjuku Nichome, gay bars.
Right,
Yeah.
and we have 5 different categories for them. So I'm just gonna explain what are the categories about. First of all, we have A, B, C, D. And S, which is superb. Also like an all-rounder, and we just love going there, and there's no complaint.
So A is we love it, but ...
Some minus points, right? Yeah, but in general, we still love it. B is we would go, but occasionally, not all the time. Yeah, once in a while.
And then C is more like if we have friends visiting or something, like there's like something, a reason beyond normal circumstances.
Yeah. Okay, and D is the last tier. I don't want to say like we don't like the bar or whatever, but it's just like not fitting my vibe and probably not for us.
Yep.
Okay, so we do have, I think more than 20 options for us, and we're just gonna pick out them one by one and see what we get and rank them.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go. Eagle Blue, suitable, a fitting first choice. I'm torn between S and A.
Okay, what's your reason?
So Eagle Blue is of the bar that I end up at pretty much the most lately.
Yes.
Right? It's like, so from that point of view, it's like all-rounder I love. You go, there's always someone there that we know. It's always a good time going together. It's just kind of like a staple in the community. They have, you know, we've said multiple times before, like drag events, like drag race events and stuff like that. I think you even have karaoke in the weekdays, but it's like everyone ends up there, or everyone stops there at least once. It's foreigner friendly. It's relatively cheap. Maybe that's where I would move it down a bit.
I honestly think it deserves S, because you all know I already graduated from Nichome, but every time if my friends going over there, or if I'm meeting someone, I always find myself ended up being Eagle Blue, and I don't even think it's that expensive. I think you're just being too hard on money. So from a very objective point of view, I think the price point is pretty fair. So I personally, I would just put it into S.
My only thing is, what do you think about like if you're coming here and you want like, it's very much foreign. I'm not saying foreign focused and like, well, there are a lot of foreigners there, but the style is also very foreign. It's very like Western in the way that you have cover, you pay to get in. You're not sitting talking with like a mama-san, you're sort of like hanging out with
I
friends.
feel like if people are coming here for like just to experience the authentic Japanese way, that's kind of like a niche vibe. So if we want to rate like whatever is the mainstream, I think Eagle Blue will be the mainstream for a lot of visitors. So it shouldn't be a minus point for it. So I'll just put it into S.
S. Okay.
Okay. Kingdom. Okay, a good competitor.
Okay.
For Eagle Blue. I would say this is a fairly newer bar compared to Eagle Blue. I think it has a shorter history, probably 2 or 3 years for now. But I don't know. If I put Eagle Blue in S, I don't think Kingdom deserves S on the same level. I have some reasons for it. Because even though it's pretty new, it gives me a little bit old vibe. Like the design of the interior. I feel like it's kind of like not as chic and spacious as Eagle Blue. It is very international as well. I think you will rarely see any Japanese guys over there. So it is very international and English speaking friendly in general. And also they play lots of dance music. So it is a mixture of bar and club at the same in the same venue. So everything I talk about it, I would personally put it into A.
Okay. Yeah, I would probably put it into A as well. I do really think that the layout's very awkward, which is unfortunate. But I really think like go-go shows and even drag shows, I think are very engaging. Like more so than other ones in Nichome at the moment. There's also like very clear show times. People are out on the street always trying to welcome you in, and they're like in their outfits and stuff like that. There's a very playful vibe. The shows that they do, the go-go dancers and the drag queens engage with the audience.
Right.
As well, more so than other ones. Every time I go, I feel like, oh, ganbatte-るじゃん. Not only that the place itself, but the go-go boys and people there are trying, and I feel like that. And I like that because I feel welcome. I feel like we're gonna have a good time. But at the same time, I agree with you that it's not quite S tier yet.
Okay, so we agree. So
yeah.
A, tier A. Oh,
My
sorry.
Turn. My turn. Arty.
In the past, D.
Yeah.
Okay, Arty had its moment. I feel like it was my virgin. Like I gave my virginity of clubbing for Arty Farty. It was very college vibe for me. And I do have a lot of good memory of Arty, but the past is in the past. So like I don't go anymore. Like every time I feel, if I really go there, like I just feel like, why am I here? Like it's like, it gives me the ick. My impression of Arty is still playing Katy Perry. I mean, the same thing as Dragon, but I mean, nothing against Katy Perry. I do love Katy.
Arty's layout was great. I also spent my youth in Arty, so it always will have a place in my heart. I avoided going for a while, and then when I went back recently, I felt like it held up better than I thought. Like I was worried it wasn't going to hold up very well. It was better than I feared. It's interesting. I think it's a B, but really, I only go if we have friends visiting, because a lot of the friends...
And they want the nostalgia.
Nostalgia, because we used to go back in the day, and then they'll come back.
Okay.
I'm trying to think, if new people come, do we say, like, we got to show you Arty's? No.
Okay, is the floor still as sticky as before?
Yes.
Okay, then D.
But the bars, the pole is still there, though.
Okay.
And then they have a stage. B?
C.
Okay, wow.
Doesn't go higher than that. It's a fossil of Nichome.
Okay, next.
Campy.
You already...
D.
Wow.
D.
Okay, D. Wow, that was very fast. You didn't even need to think about it.
Do we need explanation for it? I feel like, okay, in general, I don't think drag queen bars are for me. I just never think it's very super interesting. And also it's a very small bar. It's not like a drag show is going on.
That's true.
You know, I do enjoy going to see like drag performances, but it's not like a performance. It's a lot of like just hanging out with drag queen, which I'm not like super interested in.
It's interesting. Every time I pass Campy, it's busy, it's bustling. I always look in. There's always like multiple people at multiple drag queens at tables, like like entertaining people and having banter back and forth. But when I went, I was like largely left alone, and I wonder if that is because the staff that day, the drag queens on duty, I was gonna say.
Racist.
No, I was thinking maybe they just didn't think, like maybe their English wasn't that good.
Yeah, just anxiety.
Yeah, or something like that. And it was fine. We had a good time. And, I was there with a couple of friends, and then I sort of said a couple of things in Japanese. We got some back and forth. But it was weird for me that they didn't, like, interact with us.
Going, like, being super friendly, right?
Yeah, I don't think they were not. It was not that they were not friendly, but it's their thing.
No, I think, should be no. Here's the thing. If they're actively talking and engaging with other customers and, like, actively choosing to not talk to you, they're just not friendly, in my opinion, because they haven't really approached you and say something. Stop like trying to give them excuses, because it reminds me one time we went to Osaka together and we went to just you and me. We went to a gay bar and there were a group of Japanese customers. I mean, the bartender served us drinks and stuff, but he was like very actively engaging with the Japanese customers and not engaging with us at all. I don't know what's behind it. Like, I don't want to say they are like, you know, maybe just not confident with their English or ABCD, but like as a customer, I don't give a fuck. I just don't feel like it was a good experience to me, and I'm just gonna put it into D.
Wow, you were really passionate about this before. You've never even been to
let's
Campy.
be honest, because I feel like we are entering this state at this like phase that like, let's stop sugarcoating for places like that. Why? You don't agree with me?
I think I was neglected. I don't think it's that strong. I don't think it was that they had any...
I mean, racist is a very strong word. I do agree with that, but
yeah.
my point is that like you didn't have a great experience, so don't give them any excuses, right? King. Okay, King. Another good competitor, I would say. But let me place it first, then we can talk about it. How about that? Okay. So personally, obviously, I want to respect your decision as well. But I would put it into B.
Okay.
And I have a very clear reason for that.
Okay.
It's too loud. I can't have a conversation with anyone there. Like every time I feel like I'm in there, it's kind of like a dance. They have a dance space for people to dance, but not so many people are dancing. So we just like standing in very loud music and I can't hear my friends. That's what I feel about the venue. I mean, the space itself, like, it's very foreigner friendly, and I think the staff are very cool. Like, I do enjoy the vibe, but just like the purpose and also the venue is not matching for me.
I do think it is very loud. I think as a result, people move out onto the streets. I think it becomes a problem in winter months because it's cold and I don't want to be outside. When summer comes along, I think it'll be fine. But I guess I can see what your point is that we shouldn't have to rely on hanging out in the street. And also something that kind of annoys me is there's this thing where you're allowed to drink on the street, but then it's weird, like you're not. There's always staff being like, you gotta move, you gotta move, you gotta come in, you gotta, like, it's clear. And they're trying to always clear for like cars or like when the police come down or something like that. But it can get annoying because you're on the street having a good time just in front of the bar and people are like, staff are coming and like herding you to different places.
I mean, but I do understand from the point of, because you're like ちょっと迷惑じゃない? Like 周りに like 通ってる人とか車とか. So they have to comply to the rules that the police order them. So I have compassion for that.
But it's about the experience. If we're talking about the experience,
okay,
it's still annoying as an experience.
Yeah, but so it's, you agree it's a B.
So I wanted to say A, but I'll concede for B for now.
Okay.
Okay. Taboo.
Well, can you remind me?
So Taboo,
the SM
it's
bar,
an SM
right?
bar.
Okay.
We actually went to that bar, so you can check out that video. Okay. But to be fair, I have not been back since we did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, same here. Like we did a very fun video with the bar owner. I think he's super friendly.
Yes.
I love the space.
Yes.
I feel like it's ちょっとおしゃれ. It's also bigger than a lot of the Japanese bars. And I actually want to go, but I'm just like, I graduated from Nichome already. But in fact, I would put it into C, not because it's bad, but it's just like the reality of my habit.
Yeah, I think it actually is really good. But I think it is geared, it's an SM bar, so it's
very niche.
It's niche, and if that is your niche, I think it's really good. The owner is very, as you said, friendly, welcoming. It's a good space. I guess it's just not so much my niche.
Yeah.
So I just end up not going there. And I would go there though if I had a friend who
is interested.
I'd be more than happy to take him because I think it's really nice.
Also, you probably need some Japanese going to that space.
Yes.
But do you miss drinking from the dog bowl?
No.
I love that.
Next.
Okay. Oh my God. Took so many.
Queen. So Queen is King's Queen. It's across the street from King. And I think that's very cute that they made a bar King and they made then a bar Queen.
For the lesbian version
and it's a lesbian
right?
version. But because it's just across the street from King, everyone goes back and forth. Obviously, if you do go to Queen, there are more women there than men, but gay men are still welcome. And I think there's more karaoke actually over there. People will sing. It's the problem with Queen is that it's almost like a bar front. It's like not a bar, like you just go inside to order, but then you have no space really to hang out. So again, it kind of pushes you back onto the street, which is then at that point, is it even any different from King? Both also pushing you on the street. Would I go there out of, like, is that a goal for me when I go to Nichome? No. But have I bought drinks there? Yes, especially when King was very busy.
I like the interior of Queen more than the King. It looks more
Agreed.
like chic and
Very much chic.
interesting. But I have never bought a drink at Queen, I would say. But I'll put it into C.
C.
Yes. Ego. I prefer Ego Blue. Let me just say that. I often go to Ego to use the bathroom because it's very convenient without buying a drink.
Yeah.
They are the bar that always trying to tell people to don't stand on the street and go into the bar, which I have compassion for. Like, I understand it's very difficult to run a business over there. And I think the space is fine. I do like the interior design of the place. And also it's very international. It's very global, but I just don't think it's on the same level as Ego Blue.
Yeah.
Because Ego Blue just feels a little bit more. So I'm actually gonna put Ego Blue, into, I think it used to be A, but right now it's kind of like B because friends stopped going there as well. Like, it's just not as pop as before. So B is the rank I'm gonna give it
Yeah,
to.
I agree with that. I think the layout is just not great. I think they did the best that they could with the layout that they had or the space that they had. But I'm always finding that when I go in, I can't really hang out anywhere. I have to like keep walking around or something. It's almost better if you're on your own. Then you can kind of hang out along the edge on the bar. But when you're with like more than 3 people, then it's like you're cramped. And so then of course you move out on the street, and then people are pushing you away on the street. And at that point, it's just like, let's go to Eagle Blue. So I agree. I think for its time, it is important and it has history there, but I think we've moved on.
Yes.
Blacknude.
Blacknude, interesting. Okay, you can talk first.
Blacknude, no, I really like. I think it is a unique bar within Nichome. Everyone is super welcoming. I think its flaw is that it's so tiny. And it's weird because it's actually not that tiny compared to other places, but I think it's actually just so popular that I'm finding myself like squeezing in all the time. So it's always hard for me to like find, and even if I find a place, I'm kind of like sitting like this. That's my problem. However, everyone in there is nice. They're also very engaging, welcoming. I like that they have shows. Obviously, they're all super muscular and hot. So if looking for very like ripped guys is your thing, if that's your niche,
Not look for it, but like interact with them.
Yeah.
I don't think you can.
Well,
Look, it's,
that's true. And if you can sometimes touch, but you have to ask, okay? But if that's your thing, then I definitely recommend it because I think it's something that is, again, as I said before, unique to Nichome and a good time. And a little bit expensive, but not terrible.
Okay, I'm gonna have a very biased voting for Blacknude because we actually have a video with them.
Yeah.
Also, we did for Takashi.
Yes.
We did a video with Takashi in Blacknude as well. So both experiences I found extremely welcomed, and also I enjoy the space. I enjoy it's very Japanese as well.
Yeah.
Like if you are talking about Ego and King and other places are kind of international, I feel like Blacknude will be a very Japanese experience for people to go. It's very different from a general like Western bars. But do I really go to Blacknude a lot? Honestly, I don't go all the time. I just in general don't go to Nichome anymore, but I will put it into S because of my experience there was really great.
Yeah, it is a really good experience. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, is it my?
Yeah.
Your,
it's your turn. Yeah, it's your turn.
Aisotope. Okay, do I even have to explain more? Like, I'm just gonna put it into here, like not for me.
Okay.
Okay, the reason why, this is also very biased. A lot of people love Aisotope. They have the very iconic no underwear sweatpants day. I've been there. I think I had a great time. Also, Singland started to host their parties over there. It's a very party venue. I think it's quite rare in Nichome. So it does have its place in Nichome, I would say. I don't want to deny it. But every time I go there, I just don't like the venue. It's super worn down. I feel like the music is also very like,
Okay.
Kind of like it's exploding into my ear. I don't know. It's just a very old venue, and I think it deserves an upgrade. They probably already made a lot of money from that venue. They really should like do a renovation or maybe change, like fix it up. You know, that's what I think about the place. And also because it's so popular.
Yeah.
It's so popular, and whenever they have an event, it's so crowded and it's just very hot and humid, and you feel other people sweat. Like it's not the most comfortable feeling to me. So I'm gonna give it a very biased vote. I know a lot of people love it, and it's a great place, but I'm gonna put it into D.
So I think we need to move it up to C. And that's because I agree with all of your points. In particular as well, like every time they do events, it's almost like it's cool that they try to adapt the space to the event, but it always seems kind of like half-baked. Like, I think I went to an event the other day which was supposed to be like a little bit more like erotic and stuff like that. So they had a dark room, but the dark room was just like almost like a storage room that they just like opened and they're like, here, you know what I mean? Like have it. And so like people are like crowding in, and there's a bottleneck at the front. As you said, like just the venue in general, like everything looks kind of like tired and old. And yet they're charging a lot of money usually. It's usually like 4,000 to 5,000, which I think is a lot from Japan standards to get in or whatever. There's always like massive lines, lots of people, limited lockers. Every time I'm there, I'm always kind of like shuffling around and like trying to make it work almost.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I'm there usually with friends who are visiting and wanting to have a good time. And the thing that Aisotope is good with is that they do those events, the more erotic events, the ones they do open a dark room, which is very rare, I think in
It's
Nichome.
very how do you say, like ambitious.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the execution is always not
Yeah,
good.
execution's not really great, but there's a dark room and there isn't in many other places, right? So I appreciate that, and that is where these events are going to be held. As you said, Sinland also is held there. We like Sinland as an event, wish it could be in different, venues, but there aren't venues like that in Nichome. That's the thing. So it defaults to Aisotope.
Yeah.
So Aisotope, as you said, has its space there, has its place there, because it is the only one. I mean, I really think the Eagle Blue could do it, but anyways, besides Eagle Blue, it's really the only one that you can do these sort of events at, and so it has to be a little bit higher.
No, I kind of want to give them a vote down just to remind them that they can do better.
No, that's what
I want to be
for.
harsh. I know I want to be harsh on them. I want to be like they're D. Like I would not.
But we go.
Yes,
we
but
go.
I always regret
but
going.
We go. That's why
Every
if
time
friends visit, we go.
Okay, sure. Move it up. Move it up. No. 7-Eleven. College vibe. I personally, oh my god. I just want to put them all in D. That's what I feel. But okay.
Talk why 7-Eleven's here.
7-Eleven because it's 7-Eleven is a club. It's not the 7-Eleven club. Because sometimes it's even more popular than the bars that we have on the list. Like a lot of people just think it's super accessible. It's kind of like the kanban of Nichome. Like if you going from the Shinjuku station, like it's the first sign that you see for Nichome, and usually on Saturday and Sunday people just gather around and have a drink, grab a beer, whatever outside of 7-Eleven, and usually they don't tell you to go away. And so
that's true. That's
good.
They don't tell you
That's
to go
true.
away.
So it's like very friendly and become very easy to gather outside of 7-Eleven. But it's just like so college, and I just feel like it's so for poor people. Like I would not go. Actually,
I mean, we do all the time. Yeah, all the time.
I feel I want to graduate from 7-Eleven.
It is very college, and I think that's also the charm it has, is that when we don't know where to go, there are two things. We'll either go to 7-Eleven to get something while we decide, or we go to 7-Eleven to decide, like talk to people who are in the area, like what's the vibe tonight, guys, right?
Yeah.
And it reminds me of being in high school and like going to parking lots and trying to figure out where the party was at, So it has a charm to that. But of course, it's not S or A. I would give it a B.
We should be grateful for 7-Eleven's existence. So what's the B again? Like we would go occasionally, which is the case. So let's go with B.
Okay. Mr. Tokyo.
Mr. Tokyo.
So Mr. Tokyo, I used to like a lot. Well, I would say I like it. It's niche, and I liked it for what it was. It's a bar that's like a burger joint in the day, and then at night it turns into a bar. And it's kind of known for having like really hot Japanese men staff there. I've taken people, we've been a bunch of times, we've had like Tokyo BTM meetings in there, you know, we've had a good time. But now to be fair, this is third party information, but I heard lately that they're like not so warm to foreigners anymore.
Okay.
I'll probably go at some point to see if that's the case, but it kind of turns me off that I'm hearing about that. I can't verify it quite yet, but for that, I think I'd put it in C.
I think COVID killed Mr. Tokyo because it was a very fun space, and it was, as you said, like a lot of hot Japanese guys, and it's kind of like very popular before, but now they reduced it to only half of the space.
Also true too.
So the burger area was only there because of the COVID situation. So for me, like it really kill off the vibe, and I probably would never think of it. So I'm just gonna put it into D.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
D. Okay.
Dragon.
Oh, G.
Dragon, I'll put it into S.
Yeah.
Even though I always complain about Dragon, but I feel like if we really want to find some places to dance in Nichome, like that's probably the only option
that's so true.
I would go for, because Aisotope is not for me.
Eagle Blue does dancing, but it's also S. So
No, but like I feel like Eagle Blue is not as dancey as Dragon.
Blue
Dragon is the most dancey
yes,
one.
Eagle Blue is more like variety of different things. You can do multiple things. Dragon is very like, let's dance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people dance more passionately, I would say.
Yeah, and also like a very
more.
mixed crowd as well.
Yeah.
A lot of like girls and
Yeah.
So for a lot of people, maybe having girls there is like a minus, but personally for me, I enjoy girls. Like I don't care.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. So
And there should be a place that they can also come with the gays to have a good time.
exactly. If I have a girlfriend want to like, oh, let's go to Nichome, have a crazy night. I was like, oh, sure, let's go to Dragon. And because it's everyone welcome.
What do you think about the fact though that women are more expensive than men?
I think they should cancel that.
Yeah, I think they should cancel that too. I don't think that that's like, we don't need to
Yeah, why not?
we don't need to go into that space where we're like charging different because of, you know, are you like,
they should cancel that.
They should cancel that.
But still.
It still says S even though they have some...
Okay, this whole list is only for Nichome, okay? Like, I personally think they all belong into D.
Oh my god, oh god.
But in Nichome, I would say Dragon is an S for me.
JI'Z Bar.
Okay.
Okay, so JI'Z Bar, we did a video with them and Shuji recently, and we had a really good time. A lot of people have been visiting. I hear they've been having a really good time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I've been going back, and there was like a lot of people are coming in. And so from that, also what I'm learning is that JI'Z Bar, Shuji, the staff, are really welcoming to foreigners. I say S. And I say S because every time I go, I have a good time. The guys are, to me, very hot. They're very engaging. They're very kind. When people don't speak Japanese, they still engage and try. I enjoy the karaoke there. I think it's a really good place to experience the snack bar Japanese culture that is quite unique to Japan, and experience it, because a lot of places it's hard to experience a snack bar, I think, in Japan. So if you want to come for like a Japanese experience, this is the place to go, because this is the place that's going to sort of like welcome you. And if you fumble a little bit or your Japanese isn't perfect or whatever, that's the one that they're going to, you know, show up with grace and show you a good time.
Right. I mean, I just love Shuji-san, so he's always very nice to me. We were at White Party as well, and he actually invited us to the cruise. So
yeah.
I don't have too much affection about the bar because I rarely go there, but I will respect your opinion. I do love Shuji-san a lot, so I think it deserves S.
Well, and I think that even though perhaps you don't go to the bar so much, the way that you talk about Shuji, like that represents who he is as a person. He's the person running the bar, right? So it's like
he's the bar.
He's the bar, right? Exactly.
So Shuji-san is S. And JI'Z Bar is S for me, so. Bunbun. Okay, we did a video for Bunbun. It is a bear-themed bar, so they welcome GMPD body type over there. I had a great time filming over there, but I have never been there as a regular customer, but I know you have done it before, so I'm just gonna pass it to you.
Okay, so it's not my niche so much, so I don't tend to go on my own. But when friends are here and when friends want to check out bear bars, it's always on my list. So I think because of that, I think I'd put it in B. I occasionally go. It's not just when friends are visiting, but you know, I think it deserves higher than C. Moko-san is engaging, very nice. Everyone's very friendly, and they make time and space for us every time we go, and that's what we want, you know, in a bar. D-Light. Okay, I have to be careful. I always mistake D-Light or like between Boiler Room. Which one's the D-Light one?
It's on the left side.
On the left?
Yeah.
D.
We sell.
Oh, sorry. That's not D. That's not fair. C. Because I literally only go when we have friends visiting. The thing about D-Light for me is I think people like it
because it's cruisy.
Because it's cruisy. But for me, if you want to go cruising,
go to Hatemba.
Go to Hatemba. When you're at a place that's trying to be cruisy, it almost feels like a tease. I don't know. I'm not straight, but that's what I feel like going to a strip bar would be like. Someone like, and being all erotic and everything, but it just stops. You can't really go anywhere with it. And I feel like I'm just, in the end, it's more of like a tease, and I'm frustrated by everything. And I'm spending a pretty good amount of money to go, like not tons, but my money could be spent going to Hatemba if I want that. So I don't go there to chat with people or whatever. You go there for the cruisy experience, but I'm like, I might as well just go to Hatemba at that point. So I think it's a C.
So yeah, other than the cruisy aspect of it, I know they have lots of go-go shows over there. So even though I don't go, but one of my good friends, you know, Robin, he loves this place. And every time he goes there to do donation to his like favorite go-go boys. So I do think like if you love the go-go boy culture in Japan, they run events very often. So if that's your tea, I think you should go visit D-Light. You put it into C, right? And that's for when friends are visiting, right? So yeah, if Robin grabs me being like, oh, let's go give some donation to my favorite go-go boys, I'll go with him. But that's it, yeah, C. Is it my turn? Yeah, okay. Kaiser. And we have to remind ourselves this is the new Kaiser.
The new Kaiser.
Which I haven't been yet, but I love Hiroya-san. So Kaiser before is kind of like on the top floor of the favorite takoyaki place that you think is the best takoyaki in Japan, which is definitely not true, okay? Like, I feel takoyaki should feel like insulted after your statement. But it's in the same building. I think it's on the 7th floor. And it's always like very popular for its reputation of hosting a lot of hot guys. Like, hot guys would go there. And they used to have a Chinese mama-san, but I think he gave it the bar to Hiroya-san, which is very popular. One of the top performers as a porn actor or sexy video actor in Japan, Hiroya-san. I love him, but I've never been to his bar yet. But I'm gonna put JI'Z Bar as S because Shuji-san, then I don't know, but I've been to JI'Z Bar when Shuji-san's running the bar, but I haven't been to Kaiser when Hiroya's there. So I haven't had the Kaiser experience, right? So I don't want to put it into S because I want to be fair to JI'Z Bar. So I kind of want to put it into C because I haven't been there before, but I want to go.
Okay. I would say we should upgrade it to B. And the reason why is because I have been.
Okay.
So I have been when Hiroya's taken over. And he was welcoming. We had a good time. We bought a bottle. He and some another staff sat down with us, chatted with us, and it was a good time. It's loud, so I think that you need to be prepared for that in a way that maybe JI'Z Bar is not. It's very like loud and almost like campy loud. Like, oh,
you cannot hear other people.
So, like campy and not to say, but everyone's like everyone and like something happens there. Oh my god, you know. Yeah. And so there's a vibe there. For that. But it's a different vibe. If that's So I would go occasionally. I don't think that I'm going a lot, but I go more than just when friends are visiting, just a bit more. So I think it's a B.
Okay.
Hey, it's
your turn. Yes.
Aiiro. Okay. I do think Aiiro is S. It's between S and A, I think. In the winter, Aiiro is cold. So I never want to go there because I have to stand outside. And they have a heater, but the heater's so hot that it just blows and burns your legs. And you can't get inside. So you're stuck outside. So for me, who's a guy who always gets cold easily, I don't want to go there for very long. It's always a stopover to move somewhere else. Having said that, Aiiro is a place where I'm always running into friends. I always have good conversation. The drinks are cheap. The bartenders are kind. But it has to be mostly outside because the space is so tiny. So I'm wondering, is that fair to hold it against them? But that is the reality. I actually feel, if I'm going to be honest, that Aiiro is the most sociable of all the bars in Nichome.
Would define sociable as
Like
very
you're running into friends, and you're able to talk. Like you're saying, King, you can't hear anyone's conversations,
true.
right?
Aiiro, you can hear.
Aiiro, you can hear. That Aiiro also has like beer blast. There's always a bunch of people. They're also pushing you a little bit, but like to get off the street, but not as much. Like the vibe is so social at Aiiro, and it's so much talking, somewhat like friends.
I do have a bone
To pick
with Aiiro.
What's that?
I do love the vibe, and I think everything you said is true, but there are a lot of weird people. Like sometimes we just run into like really weird like strangers, and they're like kind of aggressive. I don't like that.
Aiiro pulls people because it's so outside and on the first floor and visible. I think it's probably the easiest bar for people to try out.
Yeah.
So if you're first to Nichome or something like that, I can 100% see you like passing Aiiro and being like, oh, let's try this place. And so maybe it's that type of place that.
But do you agree with me? There are a lot of weird people.
But that's what I'm saying. Everyone probably just stumbles in there, like all the types of people. Whereas other places, maybe you have to search for it more. It's not as many people arriving. Okay. Like Aiiro, you can like stumble. You could like roll into Nichome and find it.
I would say if
so
we both have a bone to pick and then let's put it into A.
Okay.
We love it, but
so close, almost there.
Boiler room. Interesting. Yeah, same. I would say if we put D-Light in C, it's very similar vibe.
Yeah.
It's less dancey though. Like they don't have Go-Go Boy events there. It's more, I think it's more cruisy, less dancey, and more conversational. Also, if you are interested in going to Boiler Room, sometimes they have good events.
Yes.
But you have to go after 12
yeah,
or
it's
1.
more like 1 or 2.
Yeah, every time if you go like around 11 or 10, you think it's gonna be people there. There's nobody there. Trust me, it's you're wasting your money. And sometimes I go there being like, oh, 今人いますか? And so, sorry, we're not even like 答えられないので
that means that no one's there.
Yeah. So if you want to try this place, I think it's a hit miss. Like if you want to try something soft and playful, you should go. But after 1 a.m. or 12.
Boiler Room's the type of place that people, for whatever reason, it gets busy when they get drunk. People need to be drunk. The vibe needs to, something about it. It's like when people get drunk and like, not bad messy, but like a little messy, that's when it starts clicking and but yeah, before it's like dead. People are keeping to themselves. The vibe is on.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Every time I go, it's like really dead. So I can't really. But I think the venue, it's fine. It's really old as well. Let's just put it into C next to D-Light. They're next to each other physically.
They also, again, I think if you are to try this, the D-Light Boiler Room do collab events. That's what I would aim for.
That's very rare though.
Yeah, it's rare, so it's probably not going to be on when you're here, but that's like the time where I consider going more than normal. Agreed though, C. And for men. Okay, so this is a new bar that I discovered. I was with a group of friends and we were at a different bar and we were asking for recommendations for more like bear vibe. And they recommended And for Men. And so we checked it out and it was actually a really good time. It's very similar in layout to Kaiser. You walk in and instead of the bar being on the left, it's on the right. And then there's like tables and people sort of like group around the tables. But what I thought was really cute is like the mama-san is always cooking.
Curry and stuff. Oh, because he needs to feed the bears.
To feed the bears. Yeah, so he's cooking and he'll be like, here you go. And so it's like not full meals, but like meals to like tide you over.
So are the customers all like in general are bears?
Yes.
It's a very bear for bear type of venue.
Yeah. The staff have like tank tops and like shorts, but it has that gym vibe. Like they're bears working out at the gym sort of vibe.
Like sporty bears.
Sporty bears sort of thing, yeah.
It sounds like the Sporty Spice.
Sporty Spice bear
bears.
style. They're friendly. They have good banter. It was fun. Actually, I've been a couple of times now, so it's now
Really?
one of the bars that I think about when friends come over who want to go to like bear bars. Now I'm like, Bunbun is one for sure, but I think there's a more Bunbun. I'm speaking with Moko-san more, or we're having that engaged. When I go to And for Men, it's more like I'm engaging with the whole bar, if that makes sense.
Okay, yes.
Someone can like be like, hey, over there. Yeah. So I'm gonna rank it C because I only go when friends are visiting, but I think it's like a place to watch.
Wait, why C? You love it.
You think it should be B?
I mean, you said so positively about it.
But is it King Eagle level? 7-Eleven?
But you said you would go occasionally. No, that's not the. You say like if people want to go to Bear Bar, then you would go with them, right?
Okay, I do think I'd probably go to it more than Boiler Room and D-Light and Taboo.
And Arty. And
Poor
Taboo.
Arty. Does Arty need to be C?
Do you want to go there? Do you say that positively about Arty?
I think we can. Deal
I mean,
with
it's
that
on
at
the
end.
top.
We can deal with that. We can deal with that at the end. Okay, yeah. Okay, I see
Okay.
what you mean. Let's put it at B. Definitely, it's a niche, but if that niche is your vibe, then I do think that would be the place to go.
Okay. Last
Final
but
one.
not least, we have Two's Cabin. We also did a very nice video, special video with them, and really taught, like, you know, we had a really great conversation with the bar owner and learned something about the trans experience here in Japan. So I think it does has its own place, and also think there aren't many trans bars in Japan for you to experience. So I think for its niche, it should be like S because there aren't many other choices. In general, I think it was a very good experience when we visited there, and we also visited the new location as well. You know, off camera, I enjoyed the space, and I thought it was very nice, safe harbor for people who are trans and want to find someone who's similar. But it's not for me. D.
I don't think it's D because I think it's way more welcoming than these other bars that are in D.
Yeah.
So if a friend was visiting and they wanted to go to a trans bar,
I see what you mean.
I would
We would go.
100%. Yeah.
Okay, C. I agree.
Okay. So what do we think of this list?
I think it's perfect as it is.
The only thing that I'm concerned about is Arty. Yeah.
I think it should be.
Yeah. Oh, is that why we did C? Because you think it's a D and I think it's a B.
I think it's a fossil. I think it's just like the past is in the past. Let him.
So you actually think it's a D?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I think it's more of a B. So I guess then.
Why
we
you
come
want to
back
put it into B?
We do go occasionally.
I don't
But
go
it's a bit of a-
occasionally.
Okay, fine. We'll leave it at C.
You think you go to Arty more than King?
No, more than Eagle. No, more than 7-Eleven. No, more than Bunbun.
Okay, but if I compare them to these champs in the chart, it just felt like a C to me.
Yeah, so let's leave it at C.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, what do you think of our ranking? If you've been to some of these bars and you think that some should go higher or lower on the tier list, let us know in the comments.
Right, and share your recommendation
Yeah.
of the place that you think people should visit as a gay person in Japan. But out of everything, what's your oshi at the moment?
Ooh.
What is your go-to place?
Honestly, it's lately really been JI'Z Bar.
You go that super often.
Probably because we've been having people visit lately. You know, when people visit, they do enjoy Eagle Blue and Aiiro and stuff like that. But the comments I keep getting is like, I could go to a bar like this at home. So every time they say that, I say, okay, if you then want to go to a place that you can't go at home, there are actually other places that are different. I think D-Light Boiler Room is a little bit different from home. I think probably Taboo is a bit different from home. But anyways, regardless, when they say that, JI'Z Bar is the one that pops up to say, okay, this is something that I feel confident can provide you a different experience. What about you?
It's not in the list. We know that.
Kakuretai.
Also, Kakuretai as well, I would think it's definitely one of the places I choose to go, although like I've been super sick again, so I haven't been there lately. But I would say like out of everything, like nightlife wise, my favorite venue is actually Zero Tokyo, which is not a gay bar, but they host a lot of like really great club events. And so if you're looking for some like booms, 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 just want to dance your night away, definitely check out Zero Tokyo. It's absolutely my favorite.
And Zero's in Shinjuku, so it's not so far from Shinjuku Nichome.
Yeah, so yeah.
All right. Goodbye.